Have you ever played tennis? If so, how fast did you learn? Tennis is not an easy sport. It's a pretty easy sport to pick up, but it's extremely hard to get good at. When I started playing tennis my freshman year of high school, I was awful. I was on the bottom of the roster on junior varsity, but with a lot of practice and hard work, I was able to start varsity the very next season. I'm sure people that play other sports or have heard stereotypes about tennis are very skeptical about this, but it's a lot harder than you think. I'm going to explain 3 reasons why tennis is the hardest sport to go pro in. If you want to go pro in tennis, you need to be in a position to qualify for very difficult tournaments, have extreme pinpoint accuracy and timing, and years of experience. When someone goes pro in tennis, you have to qualify. Just to qualify for a pro tournament is extremely difficult. According to Core Tennis 2020, the rankings for 2020 so far worldwide puts Novak Djokovic at 12,000 points on the Pro Tour, and the next person in line is Rafael Nadal, which is my favorite player, at 10,000 points. Number 5 on that list is Roger Federer with just over 6,500 points. How crazy is that? The number 1 ranked in the world almost doubles the number 5 ranked in the world. You get a certain number of points based on how you place in tournaments and the difficulty of the tournament. Basically, if the skill level gap between the number 1 in the world and number 5 in the world is that big, you can imagine what the gap would be for the rest of the Pro Tour and even college level and high school level. People could argue that sports like football and ice hockey are the hardest because it's so physically demanding. However, tennis is just as demanding physically and mentally. Everyone at the pro level has very good coordination. You need to be extremely athletic to even consider going pro for tennis. In other words, you have to be gifted physically as well as mentally. According to ATP Tour 2020 stats, when Roger Federer makes his first serve in, he wins 80% of those points. Compared to the high school level, it's a toss-up whoever wins those points. The amount of importance of making a first serve in the pro level is very high. Making a first serve is the difference between winning and losing a point. Chad Wallner from Serve and Volley Tennis says that the serve requires absolute perfect timing and years of practice to master. This is absolutely true. There is rarely a time where you see a pro double fault twice in a match. If you watch a pro level match, they make their first serve in like half the time because since you get a second serve, you can afford to go more risky. But on their second serve, it's more like 99% go in, compared to the high school level and college level where double faults happen quite often. I remember this one match in high school I won every single game because he couldn't make it in. Anybody could get pretty decent at tennis just with repetition and practice. But to get very good, the pro level, let me put it in perspective. I was one of the best on my team my senior year. The people better than me on my team could beat me without me even scoring a point. And kids from other high schools could beat them without them even scoring a point. And that's just the high school level. The difficulty and level of skill past high school and even college is incredible. In order to be this good, you need years and decades of experience. Gio Val from Tennis for Beginners says, because of the time it takes to develop into an elite level player and the fact that players reach their peak in their mid-20s, it's a good idea to start at age 5 to 9 years of age. If you want a chance at going pro at tennis, you probably should have already started years ago, preferably at a very young age, because you need many years of experience to get good at tennis. Starting at these ages is ideal. As a result, tennis is extremely hard physically and mentally. I just explained 3 reasons why tennis is the hardest sport to go pro in. To go pro, you must qualify for extremely hard tournaments. Just qualifying for a tournament is hard enough. You must be gifted in athleticism and coordination, as well as have decades of experience. Tennis is not an easy sport. Anyone that tries to tell you otherwise is wrong. There are many skills in tennis you must master. Any weakness you have will be exploited over and over again. And that's why tennis is the hardest sport to go pro in. And then these are my sources. I just wrote down my sources and the information on them.